Okay, today we are going to start about the parathyroid gland. We'll discuss about the structure, its anatomy, and also its physiology. So first, what we are going to study in this particular chapter. So we are going to study about the thyroid gland structure. We'll study about its function. We'll study about the hormones, what are the hormones synthesized by this thyroid gland, and also we'll discuss about the disorders, what are the disease formed by this thyroid glands. Okay, let's start. So let's start. So we'll discuss about its position first. So we know that we have already discussed about the thyroid gland in my last lecture. Suppose this is the thyroid gland. For example, this is the thyroid gland. Got it? This is the thyroid gland. Got it? So in the posterior part, means back, we find these red color structures are present. So these structures are called as the parathyroid gland. Got it? So these are the parathyroid gland. These are the parathyroid gland. So these parathyroid glands, they are present normally in the posterior wall, posterior side of thyroid gland. Yes, posterior side of thyroid gland, and in the lateral end, in the lateral side, in the lateral end. Means, suppose this is the thyroid gland present, for example. Suppose this is the thyroid gland present. For example, this is the thyroid gland present. So we find in this lateral posterior part, this lateral side. So this is the lateral end. So this is called as the posterior lateral part. Got it? At the back. And in the posterior lateral part, we find the thyroid glands are present. Sorry, the parathyroid glands are present. The parathyroid glands are present. Got it? So we got the position. Where we find the position? The position is present in the posterior lateral side of the thyroid gland. And normally it is embedded within the capsule. We find the capsule present. So we find the capsule present on the thyroid capsules. So it is embedded within the capsules. Means the capsule covers the parathyroid glands. Got it? Covers the parathyroid gland. Got it? So here we find that the capsule covers the parathyroid. Capsule of what? The capsule of thyroid gland. Yes, the capsule of thyroid gland covers the parathyroid gland, and the position of parathyroid gland is present in the lateral end and the posterior part, back. Here, this is the thyroid gland. Suppose at the back of thyroid gland, we find this part present. Got it? And here what we find, now these thyroid gland is of two types. Parathyroid is of two types. These are two types. They are parallelly present. One is called as superior parathyroid gland. Superior parathyroid gland. And the other one is called as inferior parathyroid gland. So we find both superior parathyroid gland and inferior parathyroid glands present, and they are present parallelly. Means these glands are present parallelly to each other, parallelly present. So normally we call them as parathyroid, means they are arranged parallel to each other. Got it? Clear? And also these parathyroid gland, the position, the superior is present in the upper part and the inferior is present towards the lower side. Got it? And these parathyroid gland, they are embedded within the thyroid gland and covered by the capsule of the thyroid gland. It is covered by the capsule of the thyroid gland. Clear? So in total we find 4 thyroid glands are present, or 2 pairs of thyroid glands are found to be present. Let me write here. So total we find 2 pairs of thyroid glands present. 2 pairs of thyroid gland present. Got it? So this is all about the position of the thyroid gland. Let's talk about its shape, size, and then we'll go for its structure. Got it? So let's talk about the shape and size of parathyroid gland. So normally the shape of parathyroid gland is oval shape. and it is yellow in color. The shape is oval and they are yellow in color. And when we talk about the length is of 6 millimeter, the width is of 4 millimeter, and the thickness is of 2 millimeter, and the weight of each thyroid gland is about 50 milligram. So this is all about the shape, its size, and its weight. Now let's talk about its structure. Now let's discuss about its anatomy. So now we are going to discuss about its anatomy. Suppose this is the parathyroid gland present. Suppose this is the parathyroid gland present. For example, this is the parathyroid gland present. This is the parathyroid gland present. So inside the parathyroid gland, we find compact mass of cells present. Mass of cells found. Compact mass of cells found, and this mass of cells called as parenchymal cells. These are called as parenchymal cells. Got it? So in each parathyroid gland, we find mass of cells are present, and these mass of cells are called as parenchymal cells. And also we find this gland is covered by a connective tissue that is called as the capsule. So it is also covered with protective layer that is called as the capsules. So when we magnify this particular parathyroid gland, what we find, suppose this the capsule is present. The outer part is the capsule, and within the capsule at some intervals we find this bigger cells are present. At some intervals we find this type of cells are present, but most of the cells within it are very small in size. So these are the very small size present, and they are numerous in number, many in number, numerously present. In between the cells, we find numerous cells are present. So normally these parenchymal cells present is of two types. One is called as principal cells, or called as chef cells. Another one is called as oxyphil cells, or called as eosinophil cells. So this smaller part, these smaller cells, the numerous cells present, these are principal cells, and the bigger patches, these bigger patches present, these are oxyphil cells. So parenchymal cells are of two types. It is of how many types? It is of two types. Got it? And normally the most of the hormones are produced by this. All the hormones of parathyroid gland or the parathormone are produced by these principal cells or chef cells, whereas oxyphil cells, they are present but their function is not yet known. Got it? So we find in the anatomy that we find a capsule present outside, which is a fibrous connective tissue. Within we find mass of cells present called as parenchymal cells, and these parenchymal cells is of two types. One is called as the principal cells or the cap cells, which produce hormones, and they are many in numbers, and we find patches of oxyphil cells or eosinophil cells. So this is the basic anatomy, and within parathyroid gland we find two different types of cells are present, and the main cells, that is the principal cells, that do help in synthesis of the hormones, that is called as the parathormone. Okay, now let's discuss about its function, its physiology, its blood supply, and its nerve supply. Okay, let's discuss about the blood supply and the nerve endings to the parathyroid gland. So this is the thyroid gland, as we have already discussed. So on the thyroid gland we find these parathyroid glands are present. Yes, this is the parathyroid gland. So within the thyroid gland, there is the main artery present. The main artery present within the thyroid gland, they are called as the thyroid artery. From the thyroid artery, internal artery or branching of arteries are attached to the parathyroid gland. Got it? So these are the internal parathyroid artery. These are the internal parathyroid artery or the branches of thyroid artery that are attached with the parathyroid gland. So these arteries supply blood to the parathyroid gland. Got it? So this is the main thyroid artery, and these are the called as what? Internal parathyroid artery. So these arteries, they supply blood. Got it? So these arteries, these are called as what? Internal parathyroid artery. Internal parathyroid artery. Got it? And this is the main artery that is called as thyroid artery. And within we find simultaneously we also find the main nerve present, that is the thyroid sympathetic nerve fibers. So these are the thyroid sympathetic nerve fibers. And this thyroid sympathetic nerve fiber gives out branchings. They are called as thyroid fibers, sympathetic fibers. And these sympathetic fibers are called as parathyroid sympathetic fibers. These are called as parathyroid sympathetic fibers. And these parathyroid sympathetic fibers supply nerves to the parathyroid gland. So we got the main artery, that is thyroid artery, and the main nerve fibers, that is the thyroid sympathetic nerve fibers. From them the branches arises and they control the activity physiological role of the parathyroid gland. So this is all about the supply of blood and attachment of nerves to the parathyroid gland. Okay, now let's discuss about physiology and its function. Okay, let's discuss about the hormones synthesized by this particular gland. So we know very well that in the parathyroid gland, we find special cells are present called as parenchymal cells. We find special cells present called as parenchymal. Got it? So these parenchymal cells contains a type of cells that is called as principal cells. These are called as principal cells, or we do call them as what? Chief cells. Got it? So these cells are numerous in number. They are very numerous. They are numerous. And these particular cells normally synthesize, they synthesize the hormone that is called as parath hormone, or called as parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormones, or called as Colip's hormone. Scientist Colip's discovered this hormone, so it is otherwise called as Colip's hormone. So we came to know that only one hormone is synthesized by the parathyroid gland, and this hormone is called as parath hormone or parathyroid hormone, or we do call them as a Colip's hormone. Got it? So this synthesis of parathyroid hormone, this parathyroid hormone is done by special cells that is called as the principal cells or the cave cells, which is the part of parenchymal cells. Whereas the oxyphil cells or eosinophil cells never participate in any synthesis of parath hormones. Got it? Now let's discuss about its function. Okay, let's discuss about the physiology. We'll discuss about the physiological action of this particular hormone. Okay, so the parath hormone, parathyroid hormone. So the parathyroid hormone is a protein-based hormone, or is a polypeptide hormone. Polypeptide hormone. Got it? So we came to know it is a polypeptide hormone. Now this hormone, particularly the parath hormone, this hormone contains many physiological roles, contains many physiological activity. Physiological activities. Got it? And this hormone is must for survival. Is must for survival. Got it? Why? It maintains homeostasis. Homeostasis of what? Of calcium. and phosphate. Calcium and phosphate in the body. Got it? So it maintains what? Calcium and phosphate balance in the body, or calcium and phosphate homeostasis or equilibrium in the body. So it is the main hormone for survival. Got it? As we know, calcium contains many physiological activities. Let's discuss why calcium is the most important element in our body and what are its physiological role. Then we'll go into this action of this particular hormone. Got it? So let's discuss what are the basic function of calcium, as calcium is the main element in the body. So normally we find that calcium maintains the permeability. It maintains the permeability of cell membrane. Yes, it maintains the permeability of cell membrane. Also, it helps in heartbeat control. Also, it helps in blood coagulation. Also, it helps in muscle contraction. Also, it helps in what? Muscle contraction. Also, it helps in fertilization of ova. Fertilization of ova. And also, we find in bone formation. Also, we find in it is in bone formation. We find in bone formation. So these are the basic function of calcium. It maintains permeability of cell membrane. It maintains heartbeat. It maintains blood coagulations. It maintains muscular contraction. It maintains fertilization of ova, helps in bone formation, and also it helps in nerve impulse conduction. Nerve impulse conduction. Got it? Also, it helps in nerve impulse conduction. So these are the basic function of this particular element that is called as calcium, and this calcium should be properly regulated by this particular hormone so that these functions, this physiological activity will help for survival. So this hormone is the main survival hormone. Is the main survival hormone. Got it? Clear? So this calcium function. So we know that particularly these hormones, it maintains homeostasis. Yes, it maintains homeostasis. That is in the body ECF, extracellular fluid. It maintains the proper balance of calcium and phosphate, and this equilibrium of calcium and phosphate in the ECF is called as homeostasis. Got it? Okay. And we know that this calcium this calcium is the most abundant is the most abundant minerals found in our body, found in our body yes. Got. And we have discussed that about 99 percentage of calcium and phosphate found in the bone. About 99% of calcium and phosphate are found in the bone. It means only 1% of calcium is found in the ECF. Got it? So this is the composition of calcium. So normally calcium is the most abundant minerals found in our body. Yes, 99% of calcium and phosphates are compactly present inside the bone, and only 1% of calcium is found to be present in the ECF. Got it? And to maintain what? To maintain proper homeostasis means to maintain calcium homeostasis. Homeostasis. What happened? To maintain this, a combined action. So a combined action of three components. Three components are needed, like that is parathormone, then thyrocalcitonin, thyrocalcitonin, and at last vitamin D3 or calciferol. Got it? So to maintain the calcium homeostasis or balance in the body, we need the combined action of three basic components. One is the parathormone. This is the thyrocalcitonin, as we have discussed in the thyroid gland, and vitamin D3, cholecalciferol hormones. So this combined action helps in maintaining what? That is calcium balance in the body. The calcium balance in the where? In the ECM. Got it? So this combined action is needed for the particular homeostasis. Alone parathormone is unable to participate. We know very well parathormone and thyrocalcitonin hormones are antagonistic hormones to each other, but later we'll discuss about it. But normally, to maintain calcium balance, these three components are must. Got it? Okay. Okay. So we have discussed about the action of the function of parathormone. Now let's discuss that these parathormone they absorb the calcium. They absorb the calcium that is from the digestive system, that is from the intestine, and from the nephrons and from the renal nephrons. Got it? So the main role of this particular hormone is that, suppose this is a stomach, so this is the stomach part present. We are discussing this is the digestive system. Got it? So in the digestive system, so from the intestine, the calcium is absorbed. Got it? And simultaneously, when we are discussing about the nephrons, so these are the nephrons present. From the nephrons also the calciums are reabsorbed. Got it? So this hormone helps in absorbing calcium from the digestive system, that is from the intestine and from the nephron, and simultaneously it remove what? Simultaneously it remove phosphate from the body Got it? So by this action, what happens? So by this action of parathormone, the calcium level in the blood increases, and phosphate level decreases. And phosphate level, what happened? It decreases. Got it? And also what happened? These calcium are used by bone forming cells like osteoblast to form the bone. And also this hormone also activates, that is osteoclast. What is osteoclast? These are bone destroying cells. Bone destroying cells. So these hormones activate this osteoclast. So these osteoclasts converts asymmetric bone to symmetric form. To symmetric form means irregular size bone is converted to regular form, and also it is called as remodeling of bone. Got it? So due to this formation, it also helps in resorption of bone, means demineralization, means it remove extra calcium level, extra calcium from bone, and thus what happened? Thus increase the calcium level in ECF and decrease the what? And decrease the phosphate level. Sorry, decrease the phosphate level during bone formation. During bone formation, what happened? Now vitamin D3 is also used. Got it? So during bone formation, vitamin D3 is also used. So let's discuss what we have learned. So we know that this parathormone has many actions. So what are the most vital action of this particular parathormone? So this parathormone normally absorbs the calcium from the food that we take, that is from the intestine. So this is the intestine. So from the intestine it absorbs the calcium level. Got it? So we have discussed that this is the intestine. So from the intestine the calcium is being absorbed. So this calcium is absorbed from the intestine, and also from the nephron, the calcium is also being absorbed by this particular hormone that is called as the parathormone. Now what happens? After that we find that when it absorbs calcium but simultaneously remove the phosphate level from the body, and this removal of phosphate level is done by the action of pH. So normally we find the increased pH, the pH will increase the calcium level in the and simultaneously decrease the phosphate level in the blood. Got it? So this action is done. So this is the homeostatic action of this particular hormone, and the calcium that has been drained out or that has been present in the ECF are used in the bone formation. And bone formation is done by special cells called as bone forming cells. They are called as osteoblasts, young bone cells, and they help in the formation of bones. And simultaneously, it also activates osteoclast cells. They are called as the bone destroying cells. And these bone destroying cells helps in converting irregular bones. Suppose this is an irregular bone to a regular form of bone. Got it? So asymmetric bone is converted to symmetric bone by remodeling. It is called as remodeling of bone, where we find these osteoclast cells remove the extra calcium from the bone, and which is called as demineralization of calcium or resorption of calcium is done by this phenomenon. And calcium from the bone is removed. So in the ECF the calcium level goes on increasing. But simultaneously it removes the phosphate from the body through kidney. So through kidney it removes the phosphate. And at last we came to know that this bone forming is not only participated parathormone but also vitamin D3 also helps in the formation of bone. So vitamin D3 is also used during bone formations. Got it? So as we have discussed about the role of parathormone, so we conclude that this parathormone secretion is under feedback control. feedback is under feedback control. Is under feedback control. Like what? Now the increased calcium level. The increased calcium level in the blood will decrease the secretion of parathormone and vice versa. Got it? So here the secretion of parathormone depends upon the calcium level present in the blood. If there is maximum calcium level present in the blood, then the decrease of parathormone takes place. If less calcium level present, the increase of parathormone takes place. So it is always controlled by the feedback control of the presence of calcium present in the blood. Got it? So we have a feedback control the secretion of this particular hormone. And also we know that this thyrocalcitonin and parathormone, they both, the thyrocalcitonin and parathormone, are antagonistic to each other. Are antagonistic to each other. If calcium increases, then pH decreases. If calcium decreases, thyrocalcitonin increases. So that means that this parathormone increases the calcium. This increases the calcium in ECF, whereas thyrocalcitonin decreases calcium in ECF. Got it? So we find they are antagonistic to each other. The increase or decrease in calcium depends upon the secretion of parathormone and that is thyrocalcitonin hormone. So if parathormone increases, then thyrocalcitonin decreases. If thyrocalcitonin increases, then parathormone increases. So this action is called as antagonistic nature actions. And we find that this parathormone increases the calcium in the ECF, whereas thyrocalcitonin hormone decreases the calcium level in the ECF. Got it? So this nature action is called as antagonistic action. One increases the calcium level and the other decreases the calcium level in the ECF. So we have discussed about the physiological action and the hormonal action, and we know very well that normal in 100 ml of blood, if question asks, normally in 100 ml of blood, the normal calcium level should be 12 milligram calcium. So at last we discussed that the antagonistic nature will combine combined action of homeostasis. Will combinedly form what? Homeostasis, and at last we find the normal amount of calcium to be 12 milligram to be present in 100 ml of blood. So this is all about our discussion about the physiological action of calcium. Okay, now move the last section, that is called as the disorder. Okay, let's discuss about the disorders. So normally the parathormone, we have two types of disorder present. One is called as hypoparathyroidism. Another one is called as hyperparathyroidism. Got it? This hyperparathyroidism means a decrease. decrease of parathormone, and hyper means it increase of parathormone. Okay, let's discuss one by one. First, we'll discuss about the hypoparathyroidism. So normally in this particular condition, when hypo takes place, then decrease in calcium level in ECF. So in ECF we find the decrease of calcium level takes place, and simultaneously we find increase of phosphate in ECF. Got it? So these two conditions takes place. As a result, the proper function of nerves and muscles are reduced. Means irritation takes place that causes convulsion and cramp. So when it causes convulsion and cramp, that time what happens? Now the voluntary muscles in the body contract for a longer time. And this condition is called as, this nature is called as tetany. So tetany disease is found by continuous contraction of the voluntary muscles, and this is due to reduced calcium level in the body. And we find cramps and convulsion do takes place inside the body, where we find irritation of muscles and nerve impulse to takes place. So this disease is called tetany. If for example this disease, if tetany is found in the intercostal muscles, and diaphragm, then the animal dies, because once it is contracted for a longer time, it will not relax, and this contraction of this longer time without relax is called as, the disease so form is called as asphyxia. It is called as asphyxia. Got it? So in asphyxia, what happens? The intercostal muscles normally, let's talk about, suppose this is the sternum present and this is the backbone is present here. Got it? This is the sternum and this is the backbone present, and in between them we find the ribs are present. So these are the ribs present. Suppose these are the ribs present. In between the ribs we find a special muscles present, and these muscles are called as intercostal muscles. So these intercostal muscles and the ribs will unable to stretch, and the muscles present here is called as diaphragm. So if they are unable to contract or relax, then the person dies due to lack of breathing, and this condition is called as asphyxia. Got it? So here what we find in this particular disease, that is hypo. In hypo condition, what we find, that normally the decrease in hormone will cause the decrease of calcium level and increase in phosphate level in the ECF. Yes. So as calcium controls the proper functioning of nerves and muscles, etc. So we'll find that the nerves and muscles will reduce in the proper functioning, and irritation takes place in the muscles and nerve fibers. So these irritations are in the form of convulsion or cramp in the body. Sometimes what happens, now, such as the voluntary muscles or the skeletal muscles are unable to relax. They gets contracted for a longer period. So this nature is called as tetany. So tetany is the disease due to longer contraction of the voluntary muscles due to the deficiency of this parathormone or decrease in the calcium level. And if this tetany is found in the ribs, intercostal muscles, then the animal dies due to the presence of the condition is unable to breathe out or breathe in. So breathing stops and this condition is called as asphyxia. Got it? So this is the condition where there is a breathing state is reduced or the breathing is stopped and it is called as asphyxia. So these are the disease normally present in hyperparathyroidism. Let's discuss about the hyperparathyroidism. Now let's discuss about the last part of this particular disorder, that is hypersecretion. So hypersecretion means increase. What increase is secretion? Increased secretion of parathyroid hormone. Got it? So what happened? When increased secretion takes place, so normally maximum calcium is removed from the bone. Is removed from the bone. From the bone. As a result, bone becomes weak, unable to break, called as brittle. So this causes small pores in the bone. Pores found in the bone weak region. And this type of disease is called as osteoporosis. Osteoporosis. So what happened? Increased calcium level or increased parathormone removes maximum calcium from the bone. As a result, demineralization is maximum. When demineralization is maximum, bone becomes weak and brittle and gets porous. And when it gets porous, the disease so form is called as osteoporosis. Got it? So osteoporosis takes place. So as a result, also we find maximum calcium absorbed gets deposited in the kidney, forming kidney stone. Got it? So forming what? Kidney stone. Got it clear? So at last, what we discuss in hypoparathyroidism, the calcium level decreases, so it is called as hypocalcemia. Whereas it causes hyperphospha, is called as hyperphospha. Got it? But in hypersecretion, but in hypersecretion, it's hyperparathyroidism. Parathyroidism, we find the opposite condition takes place, that is hypercalcemia, an increase of calcium and decrease of phosphate is called as hypophospha. Got it? So this is all about the chapter that is called as parathyroid gland under endocrine system or coordinating system. So we have discussed about the structure, the position, the shape, the size, its function, its physiological role, its activities, its disorder, and what are the benefits and why parathormone is very important for survival. We have discussed everything. Okay, thank you.